Yes! Again.
Get
used to this,
in.
Richie.
I know. It's a weird sensation, isn't it? I do that. It's really, really weird to get used to. But anyway, welcome to the Loaded Mag Aston Villa review show. As you can see, it's myself and Daz tonight. We may have our roving reporter, Pete, join us at some point if he's back in time, but obviously no pressure because he's been doing the Loaded Lad journey to Strawberry Corner today, and he was actually at the game. With a fantastic view of St James's Park before the kick-off, and no doubt would be raucous in the Strawberry Corner there in the Gallagher before the game and during. But Daz, another win. What do you make?
Another
3
win.
out of 3.
It was brilliant. It was hard fought now as well. It was tough watch at times, I suppose, because you're just so nervous. Especially first half were brilliant, and then second half you knew that they were going to come at us. And then, of course, we'll get into the details in a second. But
yeah,
the quick summary is that the Trippier injury just kind of really put pressure on us. You could see it's kind of starting to crumble. And then the whole VAR thing. God, we got away with that. So that was lucky. And yeah, just held up with it. It was the stoppages as well kind of helped to give us a bit of a breather, I guess. And but just absolutely delighted, Rich. And yeah, we're sitting prettier now than we were a couple of weeks ago.
It does, and obviously we'll touch on that towards the end. So, and as I think, if we're logging in now, our roving reporter, Mr. Pete Davies, has joined us.
Well done, Pete, for making it back.
Boys, you do not know what I had to do to get back.
How many tickets did you get?
And to be on this show.
I wasn't expecting you to join us, mate.
As I say, I had to do a lot of things to get back to be able to join this show tonight.
Yeah, I've got a feeling Valentine's Day is being ramped up 10 times for you tomorrow, was it, mate?
Just a bit. Just a bit.
So, lads, we'll have a quick roundup. So, obviously, we welcomed Stephen Gerrard and Willock to the show today. A lot of the talk before the game was whether we would be with or without probably our most prolific signing of the window so far, who's made such a more difference, was Kieran Trippier. But he put a little tweet on our Instagram site, shall I say, a post on there, said he may be ready before the game today, and then obviously an hour before kickoff, it was confirmed he was in the starting 11 and he was captain. Like the shock that a few people actually didn't realise. Obviously, the Lascelles had picked up a knock and so was dropped out of the team. Dan Burn came in for him, which meant there wasn't any talk over who would be at left back between Burn or Manquillo. It was Manquillo because obviously Burn was playing inside at left centre half. Apart from that, the rest of the team was unchanged from the previous game against Everton. On the bench, we had as Daz was able to point out to Chris, who hadn't got a clue who he was. The young lad, Dubal from the under-23s, was on the bench, which is a really proud moment for the family, and it was quite a lot of tweets going around about that. So, it's a great achievement for himself to be included in the match day squad today. So that's a big congratulations to him, and hopefully that you can gain extra confidence from that and get into a few more match day squads before the end of the season. But straight after the start 11, obviously, we've been on a big up over the last, since the transfer window started. And we've now on an unbeaten run of five games. And just to get into the heads of Villa straight away from the start of the game, we decided to show them our comedic combination beforehand, just to get everybody, laughing before the game and really cycling out sort of thing. So it was good to see that. But, first half, I think you probably agree, Daz, we pretty much dominated the first half. Villa just, bear in mind they've been on a good run since Stephen Gerrard's come in. They just didn't seem themselves. They seemed a bit lacklustre, and I don't think we were, we weren't as good as we were against Everton the other night, but we were still fantastic in that first half in particular.
Oh, we were class, and I know. I just think back to Chris Hall's text at halftime about Coutinho. He was in on us, and then I thought, geez, is he actually playing? I couldn't remember seeing him on the pitch through the whole first half. It was amazing because he was going to be a big worry for me. But no, but we were class in that first half. It's after that where we get the nerves started to kick in, I think, for everybody. But yeah, we're on fire. But yeah, happy with the first half, Rich. I think you still want to keep it there for now.
Well, what we'll do is obviously first half. Obviously, I just wanted to touch on what. Obviously, I was there at the Everton game on Tuesday night, and I thought it was one of the best atmospheres I'd heard in a long, long time. As I said, probably since before Mike Ashley had come in. What was the atmosphere like for yourself, Pete? Because obviously, I know it's probably I think it's your first home game since the Brentford game when you were up for myself as well. So. Did you notice the atmosphere change from compared to the Brentford game, and how was it, do you reckon, compared to Everton of what you heard on the TV the other night?
By far, like a million times better than Brentford, and Brentford was still more of a celebration because we had Eddie Howe in charge of the club, although he wasn't there. But in comparison to Everton, it was very different. There was a lot of nervousness before the game. The atmosphere was still great. I mean, being in the Strawberry Corner was amazing. It was like being at an away game. Nobody was sitting, everyone was standing, just constant chanting throughout the 97 minutes. But there was a nervousness you could tell around the stadium because, you know, when you've got the likes of Coutinho, Buendia starting, when people didn't think that he wasn't going to start, you know, Villa are good. They're a good side. They're a good side, and they've got a good manager. And I think there was a nervousness about that. We knew Everton were in a bit of free fall, so we could get up for that and really have a go at them. And I think the players looked nervous in the first half. Certainly in the first 10-15 minutes, they looked nervous on the ball, giving the ball away here and there. You know, not protecting it as well as they could. But you know, after that 15-minute period, they really started to kind of come out and be the better team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think pretty much first half. You know, and I think Gary Neville on the commentary. Obviously, I don't know, you wouldn't be aware of this, because obviously you were at the game. But I don't know if Daz, if you had Gary Neville commentating for your game over in Ireland as well, or was it whether it was Irish coverage? But he said several times. You what? Sorry,
it was Gary. Yeah,
it was Gary. You can back me on this. Several times he said he'd never seen Newcastle play like this. They were completely different. The way that the press there was, how they were set up a lot more defensively forward. They pressed from the front, and they were so compact in defence as well. He says he'd never seen Newcastle being like that for a long, long time. I don't know about you, Daz, but I think that the main turning point, and obviously, and full enough, was actually probably the goal. Because when we up until the goal, we were completely on the front foot. And obviously, don't get us wrong, you know, it went to VAR once again. It went to VAR to see whether it was a penalty or whether it was a free kick. You know, there was touch and go. Some people were saying, was his heel on the line? Was it not? And Chris said, now WhatsApp chat, oh, it's definitely a penalty. Now just turn and says, doesn't matter, mate. Doesn't matter, mate. So it's the end of the day, you got exactly the result you would have hoped if you got a penalty. But, you know, fantastic free kick once again by the man Kieran Trippier. He's absolutely lapping up the attention and through his performances for the club. And to be fair, he's leading by example. And the reason why I said that I think that the game changed after the goal was because Manquillo got a knock pretty much straight after the goal. And then Trippier obviously got that injury where he was stood on at the end of the first half as well. And that sort of pretty much changed the second half of the game. Would you agree with that on that, Daz?
Yeah, I would, Rich. And I just thinking back to the goal, I was looking out for my young lad today, so trying to watch the game and mind him at the same time. So I remember he just came into me when I said, it's a penalty, come on, stay, watch this. And then it wasn't a penalty. I was like, okay, no, it doesn't really matter so much. Trippier, he had such the free kick last week, you never know. And then, yeah, it went in and just went mad, and then he was wondering what was wrong with me. But it was as soon as the injuries started to come into play, then it was really, for me, I think the turning point, Rich, it wasn't that point, it was when Trippier went down. That was at the start of the second half, wasn't it? And he went off. Then things kind of started to look like they were going to crumble. So I didn't see it that as early as you saw it, but that for me, that's when I just thought everyone kind of was kind of looking at each other going, oh, what do we do now? You know, because I think Trippier has been kind of gathering everyone together, showing that leadership, and I know Shelby was trying to do it then in his absence, but it was just kind of we got lucky after that, I think. But yeah, sorry, you were saying thought it was earlier than that.
Yeah, I just think obviously that's when the two injuries literally came, and obviously I know Trippier went off and he tried to come back on. Obviously, both the injuries to Manquillo and to Trippier were literally in the last 5 minutes or so of the first half. I just think we wanted to rise until then. It just, you know, I don't think we really saw the Trippier one before the half, but obviously he went down straight away. And I think the only thing that I think was everyone was looking as a positive at the end of the game was that it wasn't his calf that had gone again. And obviously when the heard it was stood on, there is a few pictures being on Twitter. This is one in the hotel after the game where he's got an aircast protective boot on it. Luckily, it doesn't seem as though there's any crutches there. So I don't know whether that means it's, you know, how severe it is. You know, hopefully it's not too severe, because we've all seen how much, as you said, Daz, he's galvanised us, his leadership on the pitch. Yeah. And I think, Pete, you probably agree with that. Second half, we missed his leadership.
Yeah. You could tell. I don't actually think, you know, I've got to be honest, I don't actually think Kraft played too bad. I thought he was quite well organised. I think certainly on the ball, in attacking positions, he was better. I think he only made really one mistake in the whole of the time it was on the pitch, but from a leadership point of view, definitely. And I think that kind of went around the whole team, knowing that he was off the pitch. It had an effect on the players, and that just shows the like how much he's changed the mentality of the whole squad by coming in. I'm hoping that I mean, did they show on Sky? Because you mentioned, because we didn't see the standing on apparently what happened. Obviously being at the ground,
I can't remember seeing it.
Did anyone see it? Did they show it back? Was it a replay or anything?
No, that's why I didn't realize it happened before half time. And we saw the Manquillo one, right, where he landed awkwardly. You could see that was shot up his leg, really, the pain there. But he battled on for a good while after that, and I know he went down a few times, and he looked fine at times, and then went down again. But and credit to him as well, actually, for the last couple of games, because he comes in in different wings, the left and right, and he always does a job for us. Like so, fair play to him. Like he's a great kind of utility man in those positions to have. But so yeah, if it's a case, and I know we'll get onto it in a while, that if Trippier is going to be out for any kind of period, you kind of hope that Manquillo won't be, because he's good to slot in those positions when called upon.
Yeah, it was. I think when as soon as Trippier went off, it did unsettle the lads a little bit. That, you know, they were a bit uncertain and lining each other at the back, and that leadership qualities we've discussed already. And I do feel as though that 15 minutes after half time, that was Aston Villa's best spell. And luckily, they obviously scored. What was a goal, you know, I don't know whether Pete's actually seen any of the replays of the VAR and stuff like that, but it was pretty borderline. It looked clear as day, and then obviously you see Kraft coming out, and then you realise how close and how borderline it was. But luckily, once again, VAR went our way, and the goal was ruled out. I think that, for me, knocked the stuffing out of Aston Villa, because I think they really thought they were back in the game. And then I think there was a little bit of a break when someone went down, and we tried to change the formation, and Eddie Howe was able to get all the team over, get all his instructions out. And once that instructions went out, we didn't look back. And I think, obviously, we went on from there. We looked rock solid. And, you know, the final whistle, the celebrations from all the players and all the crowd, you know, big joy. Look, you can just see the relief on the face, because I think at one time, I put in our WhatsApp chat today, it looked like it was going to be the way the injuries were going down and stuff as well, and the bookings. I think it was more clever bookings that we picked up today, lads. It wasn't like cynical. Yeah. It was clever bookings that broke up the play, and when they basically on attack and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, and I said it felt like another Southampton game when we went down to 9 players and Dummett came on and it was an absolute beast when we had 9 men finished on, and that was a turning point in that season as well. And so the relief on, as you said there, on Big Joe's face there, Dan Burn on his home debut as well. You can see the relief there. I think the celebration from all the defence as well. You could see how much it meant to the whole defence. That a clean sheet against a team that is being resurgent as well, and probably the only other team that was as active as Newcastle in the transfer window. It looks obviously they're going to be in the Premier League next year as well, but I think it's a fantastic performance by the lads from front to back. Daz, on regard to before we get to the ins and out, whatever, did you have a man of the match for today?
Oh, definitely. It was Dan Burn. He was everywhere, really, where he needed to be. He just kind of organised the defence as well. He's so tall. I can't really say it any other way. Like he's just when a ball comes in now, you think he's going to get his head in that. He also played intelligent headers as well into space into where someone else like Shelby or something could pick it up. So it's really impressed with him and for his debut as well. And I know that Sky did a little bit on him as well about coming back to Newcastle and where he's sat in his seat where he used to go to games. It was a great day for him. So he was definitely my man of the match. No, but there were so many others as well who deserved a shout out. Fraser again ran his socks off. I know Pete on the True Faith snippet, he singled out Willock. For me, I tipped Willock to score today. I said, We'll narrowly win and Willock will score. But Willock didn't score, but we narrowly won, so I'll take half that. Good solid performance all around. Dan Burn though, definitely, Richie.
I must admit, for what I saw, I thought Dan Burn was phenomenal. There was, as I said, there was loads of other team players. Dubravka had the clean sheet, although he didn't have much to do. I think the one thing that stands out is Matty Targett coming against Everton looked solid, so we were forced to take him out today, which is a shame. Trippier went off towards the end. We didn't know whether it went off whether he's going to be going forward, where he's going to be. So it could be a while before we get that back for that. We've all said that we wanted after the transfer of Trippier, Shaw, Burn, and Targett. But that partnership of Shaw and Burn looked really, really solid today. And you can see why they wanted that right foot and left foot centre-back combination looked really solid. The balance was there. And I think after that break where that they had Eddie Howe had the conversation with the team, I think that's when Dan Burn really took the leadership over of the defence, and he was just obviously trying to direct people. And there was a lot of times I noticed where the ball would be coming over the midfield, and Shaw and Burn were meeting the ball further up the pitch, so it wasn't even get a chance to bounce for the forwards. They were meeting it with the head and stuff like that. And I think when Sky Sports gave man in the match down, and it looked like ours as well. And what more could you want for a perfect home debut for your hometown club? A clean sheet, man of the match. And I've just put some stats on this picture here, Daz, if you want to move that comment. And if you can move the banner as well, if you don't mind, Daz.
There we go.
Just see 3 clearances, 4 possessions won, and passing accuracy of 81%. Great stats for a centre half, and he thoroughly deserved it in my eyes. So I'm the same side as what Daz says, and Dan Burn was man of the match for me. Pete, obviously you picked out Joe Willock on the True Faith podcast. Do you stick by your decision that he was your man of the match, or have you reflected on it on the trip home to Leicester, where you've possibly changed your mind at all? Or
no, look. I actually said to Alex before we went on air is that it could have been either Dan Burn or Joe Willock. They were the 2 standout players for me on the pitch. And you're right. You're both right in everything that you said. Dan Burn was brilliant. Daz made a great point about Dan Burn. Every header that he won over the top went to a Newcastle player. Yeah. And that's the difference. When Lascelles gets those clearance headers, even Shaw sometimes, even Dummett did it in the second half. It's just heading it anywhere and it ends up at a Aston Villa player and they go and attack us again. He was comfortable. There was one header that he did in the second half where the ball's come over And, it's a tricky header to manage, and he just kind of like composes himself, and he just flicks it back to Dubravka, and it just settles everything down. And it was just like, that is what we need in a centre-back. And in the end, they were doing cross-field balls away from him because he was just winning everything. And even then, he was coming across to Shaw's position to still win the header. He was just literally everywhere, and he was brilliant. He really, really was. And it was great to see such an assured centre-back. And their centre-back pairing, I don't think I've ever seen Shaw as just comfortable in a pairing defensively as a 4 than he had today with Dan Burn, because they can both play on the ball, comfortable in possession, nice and easy passes. It was just really good to see. But the reason why I said Joe Willock, because he did a lot of things that in the game today that I watched him quite closely, and he did a lot of things in the game today that wouldn't have been sort of talked about or noticed. But the way in which he covered both fullbacks, especially in the second half when Trippier and Mankiller were already off, was fantastic. You touched on the stats there from Dan Burn about sort of possessions won. I'd love to see what Joe Willock's were, because Joe Willock, I think I counted at least 7 or 8 in the game where he won possession back, not just high up, but deep in our defensive areas, and was able to drive forward. And in particular, towards the end of the game, he was winning balls he had no right to win, and was then attacking forward and then winning a free kick, which would then just stop the game in its tracks, slow everything down, give us a breather, stop Aston Villa from gaining any momentum into the game. And I just thought he was brilliant. I just thought he was really, really good. He didn't get many chances in front of goal. He had a couple in the first half, but I just thought his selfless running and work rate and the ability to win the ball back on a regular basis for the team, that's what we need in the midfield. And for me, that's the reason why Bruno's not starting at the moment, is because when you've got a player like Willock that's doing that additional work for the team, you can't replace that, because his role in the team is so important. And it was there for all to see. Joe Linton was pretty good. Him and Willock together were a great partnership. Really kind of pressing high, and I think that's what you're referring to with regards to what Gary Neville was saying during the game. He hasn't seen us press so high, push our team forward, and not be just sitting on our 18-yard box all the time. For long parts in the game, whenever we had the ball in their half, we were pushed right up to the halfway line pretty much, and it was squeezing the play, making them and forcing them backwards. And it was just, the attacking players were a big reason in that. You could say Chris Wood, selfless running, didn't really have many chances on goal, should have done better with his shot from about 20 yards out in the first half that went over.
Yeah, the one he should have slipped through to Fraser. Fraser was that, it was 2-0 if he'd passed it to Fraser. And I think we all commented on the chat. It was blatant.
But again, he's selfless running. He just works his socks off, constantly chasing the two centre backs that had split really wide. But yeah, for me, Willock, just those recoveries and those interceptions high up the pitch were like gold dust, particularly between 85 minutes and 97 minutes, where he must have done it at least 3 or 4 times just to give us possession and win us a free kick high up the pitch. Just fantastic, great.
Yeah, it was. Sorry, Daz, what you were going to say?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, just while we're still on Dan Burn, Pete, you won't have seen this because it was down the opposite end for you, where there was a tangle between Tyrone Mings and Burn. And the ref is talking to them, and Dan Burn is still there with half his jersey in his hand, and he's like walking away. Where can I put this? The evidence. No, it wasn't his fault. He was being wrestled to the ground, and he hanging on to him, and he took half his. Get Castori next year. I think that's the meaning behind that one. But I did have to laugh at that.
Yeah, it was quite funny, that, wasn't it? But Dan Burn had a fantastic game, and as Pete said, Joe Willock and Joe Layton, they're making it hard, and everybody was like shouting for Bruno today. But when you've got a middle three that are playing as good as they are, and Eddie Howe said this, they deserve to keep the shirt. And then I know everybody wants Bruno to come on. I do, Pete does, Daz does, the rest of the lads do. Everybody on Twitter was shouting for it. You've got to be fair to the lads who are doing a job for you. If there wasn't anyone doing a job, then fair enough. Lascelles has been good since Burn came in, and to be fair, everyone was calling for Burn to come in. Both Shaw and Lascelles had a good game against Leeds and against Everton. So obviously, when we saw Burn come in, it looks as though it's only going to be an injury at the moment where people are going to come in. Regards to the press, like you were saying, Pete, I think the only thing that let us down in the press again was ASM. Once he loses the ball, he seems to be a little bit lazy, and I felt sometimes that Dummett and Mankio were left a little bit, 2-on-1. Quite a few. Matty Cash, especially in the second half, was getting a lot further forward, and Sky Sport had highlighted the fact that, ASM was literally still on the halfway line and Matty Cash is on the 18-yard box sort of thing. So, and obviously when that pressure was coming through, we were all discussing it and we were saying, possibly take Wood off and play Maxi up, and we, drop an extra, Bruno back in for Wood and play Maxi as a counter-attacking threat. It's just stuff like that where, so even if you'd move Joel in onto the left, where he's played before, he's going to get that work created to help out with the press and also to help out your fullback as well. So, another thing at the end of the game, obviously, we saw the players celebrate. Some fantastic reactions again from our owners, me and Dad. So proud of this team, incredible resilience in the end, a well-deserved win. Good I wasn't there to celebrate with everyone today. And also from Jamie Rubin as well. What a result, what a performance, what a team. So proud of us and in UFC. Why United, the best supporters. And I think that highlights why everyone's so happy because not just the team on the pitch, the fans are united with the team, the owners are united with the team, the fans are united with us. We've always said this, together as a United, we are a beast. We are, an unstoppable machine, and it finally feels that's what's happening. Would you say that's right?
Definitely, Richie, and it's for the owners as well. Like they were probably under a bit of pressure, like the likes of Mirdad and Jamie Rubin and Amanda. Like the gamble has paid off. Like they took us when we were down in the relegation zone, and it wasn't looking great to start with. And we know Eddie Howe coming in had a bit of work to do to try. He still has plenty of work to do to reverse all the damage that has been done over the years, and Bruce before him really. But yeah, it's all starting to take. Each week gets better and better for us. Now we look forward to testing ourselves against a stronger opposition in the shape of West Ham, who didn't do. I didn't watch the game, but Rich, you said they were lucky enough to get a draw today. So why not go at them as well? Like these, let the momentum continue. And I know all we have to do is stay up this year, but let's kind of make sure we try and get it done as early as possible. Like, give us a one less headache to coming into the summer. But yeah, what was the question again, Rich?
Does it really matter?
No.
It was just all about everyone being united, from the team.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like even for the
owners, everything,
flags and everything. Like it's some spectacle, and look, it's like Bruno can't even get on the pitch. That's how good we're playing lately. So that says it all.
I know. So.
Sorry,
go on, Pete. Sorry, go on.
Can I just add with the point you made about everyone being united? The one thing I will say is I really hope that the two fans in the stadium that had collapsed during the game are okay. And obviously there was one in the Gallagher area. It was on the other side of the Gallagher to where we were in the corner, and then there was one right in the east stand which we could see down. I think it was quite near to where someone had collapsed during the Tottenham game. It was around the same area. I really hope that they're both okay. It seems like they were. Certainly there was a big round of applause a little bit later on afterwards with the first person. So it kind of gave us the idea that things were okay with that person, but it took a while for medics or some form of doctor to come over. So there was a real sort of panic in part of the Gallagher. So everyone in our corner was like really worried at that point, and then we were like even more worried when it happened again to somebody else. But it seems like that one was sort of managed quite quickly. There were sort of medics and doctors that were straight over there, which is why the game the second time never really stopped. We're already in injury time, and I think there was only like 3 or 4 minutes left in injury time. So I think the ref had just played it through because it wasn't a direct, maybe as serious concern. But hopefully both fans are okay and everything.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. It's happening too much at football matches at the moment, not just at St James's Park, but all over the country, and not really sure why. It's never really been something we've been accustomed to before, but yeah, fingers crossed they're all okay.
Yeah, great shout, Pete. And as I said, from everyone at Loaded, we hope that both fans are okay.
Exactly.
So we're going to start rounding the show, the show up now. And what we'll do is we're going to touch on. We've got two for Premier League tables here. We've got the actual Premier League table and how it actually looks tonight. And there you go. We are outside the bottom three, and we've got a cushion now, and with game in hand. So, lads, both is how are you feeling on that one first? And then also, we've got the Premier League table for the last 6 games. And if you look really close at 5th place, you'll see Newcastle. 11 points from 18. 3 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. And as me and Daz were talking about before we went there, the only loss that we've actually got in the Premier League is against Man City. So you can look at that as another way, and our only defeats off them, and unbeaten in the rest of them, which is including Man United. Obviously, I would know that not doing it great at the moment, but how reassuring is it that form when you've got teams who are down at the bottom end fighters like Watford, Brentford, Burnley, Everton, who are all at the bottom end of the form table and the Premier League table.
I know it's class, Richie. Like we're out of that relegation zone, and yeah, as we were saying as well, in that and the form of Brentford is not looking good. And we played after West Ham, we played Brentford, and I think if you just bring up the table again, actually, if we they've played 25 games, whereas we've played 23, and I was saying is that even never mind us passing Brentford out, the likes of Norwich could potentially pass Brentford out the way they're going. They're if their form is, I don't think they've won anything in a long time, but all positive for us, and nice to be top of that, our fifth from top on that form table. We are definitely the informed team in the bottom half of the table for sure. So
the interesting thing is, Daz, obviously, because we play Brentford the week after next. Next week they actually travel to Arsenal, who are on a little bit of a run as well. So you'd probably, on likelihood, Pete, you'd say that you'd expect Brentford not to get anything at the Emirates next week, whereas West Ham have been up and down recently, and obviously we're on a good run of form. It's something where we could actually be level on points when we go to the Community Stadium the week after.
No, you're right. It's Brentford are in free fall at the moment. Up until Everton's win at the weekend, they were in free fall too. And we've talked about this before with newly promoted sides. They have a good first half of the season, then they really fall flat second half. I really do think Brentford are right in this mix, although the table doesn't suggest that at the moment. Look, we've got what, 2 games in hand on them. We're only 3 points behind, and we go to them in a couple of weeks' time, as you've said. It would not surprise me if we finish. I say it wouldn't surprise me. I expect us to finish above Brentford this season. I really do, and I think it won't be long before they're right in the mix there. They've signed Christian Eriksen. I don't think he's going to change too much, because I think there's going to be too much of a worry around his heart condition. But it's all there for us. You know what? Like you've just said, Richie, like Brentford play Arsenal next weekend. So even if we get a point, at the weekend, it's a point closer to Brentford. And then if we go and beat them the week after, we're above them. And we're, as long as we keep picking points up and we keep staying unbeaten for as long as possible, week by week, it just means we're just edging closer. For me, I think we're 14 points away. I think we stay in the league with 35 points. So we're 14 points away from staying in the league, in my opinion. And I think, if we just keep building slowly but surely, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on the 35-point mark, because I can't see Norwich, Watford, or Burnley getting anywhere near that. Yeah. And I think that the telling stat is, we look at that form table. Obviously, we're unbeaten in 5 now. But if you also look at that table with all our competitors, along with, obviously, you've got Burnley down there, and you possibly look at them, they're good at grinding out results and stuff like that, and have lost 1 game less than us. Obviously, they've played 2 less than us as well, though. In and around us, along with Leeds, we've lost the least games. Yes, so we're still hard to beat, even though we're on a run now with 5 games unbeaten. I think that what we lacked in that first half of the season was we weren't turning these games where we were going ahead into 3 points. We were getting pegged back, and I think we learned from the Watford game today by, yes, we weren't playing very well second half. We hung on, we dug in, and we got the 3 points that we should have got against Watford the other week as well. So it's all looking positive, lads. And obviously another tough game next week. So I think what we'll do now is, lads, we'll start to round up the show.
Richie, can I just make two things in the chat, and I haven't got them. There's a lot of people asking about Chris Hall, and what I don't know where this has come from, but Chris is fine. He'll be back pretty soon, so don't worry about Chris, guys. Chris, he takes a month off, he injures his toe, so take no notice of Chris. But he's good. Yeah, he'll be back with us pretty soon. But if everyone wants to know really what's going on, what's happened is, everybody in Liverpool now has been paid again after the Christmas rush in January. So the Avon order has gone through the roof. So he's just basically had to take a step back from loaded and catch up on his loaded and on his Avon orders for February. So that's all it is, lads. But he will be back hopefully this week at some point. Sorry, Rich, maybe I'll just go with the question because I'll forget them otherwise. Is people are asking as well, and I know people have clarified in the chat about the yellow cards that are for Big Joe and Shelby and the hitting 5 cards. But yeah, that I think it's gone to 10 now. Once you get over a certain point, it's 10 is the limit. So they're good. They're not going to be missing for West Ham.
It's if you pick up 5 bookings within the first 20 games. Once you hit 10 bookings as well, you will actually hit a 2-match suspension, but that's after the 20 games. So long way off on that point at the moment, so it's nothing to worry about at the moment. I think it's more going to be down to injuries when replacements are the way that midfield's playing at the minute, I think so. Anyway, as we round up the show, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors and to give us a like and subscribe as I would push to 3,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already done it, and you've obviously enjoyed the content we've been putting on recently, click on the subscribe button. It's free. And if you want to consider becoming a member, click on the membership button as well, where you will get exclusive membership draws several times a month. Hopefully, if the way things go, it's looking very, very promising at the moment. So feel free to consider doing that. So shout out to Black and White Army and Bronwyn, who has been sponsoring us for a good few months now with her fantastic hoodies and T-shirts and bobble hats and stuff like that. And hopefully her new line will be getting released in the next month or so. So we'll have some new stuff to bring to you there. Also to Simon and Shy Benz. Well, we obviously had Simon on the show on Friday. It was nice to finally get him on and talk a bit more about what Shy Benz is all about. As Martin mentioned, really good cause to our heart with mental health issues, and Shy Benz obviously have a fantastic range of, your snap caps, other baseball hats as well, and hoodies, T-shirts as well, all about positive mental health attitudes. And we've got a little bit of an exclusive for you. We've actually got another sponsorship, another partnership we've got coming up, and it's one we're really excited about, lads, and it's still ironing out all the little ins and outs, nitty-gritty and stuff, but we will be having a new part to go along with, and you'll see a bit more about them. You will have seen them on Twitter, because we've seen them on Twitter stuff. We've seen them, you've seen them. And that is Pins and Prints. Now, the logo might not be familiar, but when I put up the next picture, you'll probably know all about it. And that's all the actual game shots and stuff like that, prints of iconic goals or memorable goals for your club and stuff like this. So we'll not go into the story of how the contact came about, but the reason why we put this one up is because, as Daz knows, I called the goal the other night at the Everton game. So he sent me this picture. He started Twitter and stuff like that. And so it was a little bit of a running joke for a couple of days and stuff like that. So yeah, plenty of fantastic stuff on there. And obviously, we're hoping to actually be able to bring a discount code to all our viewers and members and stuff like that as well. So if you do see anything on anything like that, wait until you actually, put them in your basket, save the page open, and you never know. If there might be a load of discount code there for you, little insight, sneaky peek there for you. So, lads, 9 points out of 9.
9 out of 9.
Told you.
Oh, that's
Told you.
yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, you did.
That's one down point if it happens.
Yeah, you did. To be fair, I think what I went between. I think I said 7, or at least we asked at least 5, didn't I? So, no, I'd have been happy with any of them. But 9 out of 9 it's a dream come true, isn't it, lads? So, lads, as we're rounding the show off now, it's been a fantastic week or so for Newcastle United. Things looking more and more positive as the season ticks on. So, from me, from Daz, from Pete, good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Take care.
Lads.